Hey guys, we're here with comic artist, writer, creator Jim Starlin. Jim, thank you for taking some time to talk with us here at 2019 San Diego Comic-Con.
50th, I understand.
Yeah, big year, big year. So you are responsible for creating and co-creating some of the most iconic characters in comics.
Responsible? Should I be apologizing? Okay, go on, please.
Well, my question was, so recently you've been seeing a lot of them actually portrayed in real life. Real life, you know. When you first started and you were first creating characters, like when you were in the army and you first had your ideas for Thanos, what did you, what was your wildest dream, and could you ever have seen it coming to this?
Well, when I was in the service, my dream was to get a job working in comics, and once I got there, it was just continue to work. The whole idea of there being movies was absurd. Back when I started, they were still doing spaceships that sort of wiggled on the strings when they went across the screen. It wasn't until much later that the computers came along. Thanos would have been back in the 70s, would have been a guy in a bad outfit, and maybe pumped up a little bit somehow or another, but he would have looked ridiculous, and nothing like, Josh Brolin did in the two Avenger movies. What is happening now is just beyond comprehension of where I was at that point. But then so much else is, like the cell phones we're carrying around are like mother boxes from Jack Kirby's New Gods. So things change, and I'm flowing with it and enjoying it and trying to not get too surrealed out.
For people who are familiar with Thanos from the comics, there was a very distinct change in his motivations and his ethos about why he was doing what he was doing. What did you think about that? Did you have any input on that change? And how do you think it played out?
No, this was basically the Russos and Steven and Chris who did the entire story work on their own. I only came in between the two movies to do a cameo in the second movie. Basically, they did the best under the circumstances that you could with that character because they had so many things they were working with. It was like the 20th movie, 19th and 20th movie in a run. Marvel Studios decided they didn't want any of the abstract entities just yet into the thing because into the storylines because they were afraid the movie-going public might not be able to digest that easily. I think with a couple more Doctor Strange movies that'll kind of change. So Mistress Death was sort of cut out, but they went back and they dug out this motivation that I had just thrown in to Silver Surfer. I think it's 34 or something about the population and that, and they may not have done to the letter of the character, but they certainly kept to the spirit of it, and I have no complaints about it except for the helicopter blades in the last movie. I'm never going to forgive them for bringing back memories of the Thanos helicopter. It's just horrible.
Well, that maybe goes with my next question. If you could go back after the decades of characters and stories you've written, is there anything you think, I wish I did that a little differently, or there's an aspect of this character, if I was writing him now, I would put this in?
Oh, that's okay. That's probably a no because I'm very self-indulgent as an artist, and what I want to do at that time, editors have learned that there's no fighting that. It's going to come out one way or the other. But basically, I find that the flow of creating, I don't really try and get retrospective with it because it's the experience of actually doing it that is what keeps me going. I don't look back at my old stuff too often unless it's to go reference to the new story or something. So I'd have to say no.
And last question, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 has teased Adam Warlock. Yeah. What do you hope they do with him in either Volume 3 or down the road for the MCU?
Well, I suspect he's going to come as a villain to start off with, like he did in the comic books when he was him. Hopefully he will come back around. They do have a lot of cosmic stuff that they have planned, which they're not sharing with me, damn them. But my biggest hope is that we see Pip the Troll down the line. I needed a nice little runt for Warlock to talk to.
Great. Thank you so much, sir. It's a pleasure.